Welcome back, everybody. Newsmakers now on this Thursday morning. Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood joining us just like he does every month to talk about the biggest issues facing Kern County. Sheriff, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, Sheriff, so let's dive right in. A 2020 settlement with the Attorney General of California required your department to reform its use of force policies. Now, 5 years later, the DOJ decided some elements were still not met. What still needs to be completed?
Well, it's more than use of force policy. It's our policies in general. And we have hundreds of policies. We're going through each one. We're going to agree on some, disagree on some. When we have a disagreement, it requires negotiation. What I won't do is negotiate safety away from the public that I'm sworn to serve, or safety of my officers. And so sometimes that takes time. We're way ahead of the game. We thought we were pretty close to being done, and we were given 2 more years. We accept that. We'll work hard and diligently to make sure that we comply.
So let's start with some of the agreements, though. What kind of changes have already been made in response to this judgment? Well,
some of the policies, it's semantics. It's the verbiage. DOJ doesn't like some of the verbiage in the policies. They come out with their recommendation for when canine can be used. And we disagree on some of that. We finally got that policy approved. Use of force policy is approved. We haven't implemented it yet, but we're moving forward. And that's where we want to be, is to get through the DOJ. We're paying $1 million a year to be monitored. That's taxpayer dollars. There's an incentive for them not to want to go away. There's no incentive for us.
Now, Sheriff, you've been quoted as saying, we are going to work diligently over the next 2 years. How do you check off those last few boxes as a department?
Well, if we disagree, ultimately, we'll go back to court and have a judge decide it. So far, we've been able to avoid that, except for the one time we've gone to court. But we have some things that we're going to stand on, and if it requires going back to court and having the judge decide it, we will. But negotiation is the best part. The policies really haven't changed. They just read differently.
Now, Sheriff, let's go to a killing in Oildale. Stephen Quick is charged in the murder of Jason Scott Hall outside the Long Branch Saloon Saturday night after a fight broke out. He was taken into custody in Southern Oregon. When is he going to be extradited back to Kern County?
Well, that's the DA's job, the extradition. Sometimes they waive extradition, sometimes they don't. Time's on our side. We'll do what we have to do, and the DA will do what she has to do.
So just a few days after the killing, they found him in Southern Oregon. How did the Sheriff's Department get in contact with law enforcement at that spot?
Well, the first 48 hours of any shooting, homicide investigation is most important. Witnesses give you hints of where he may go, and we notified them that he may be there. They found him. I think he voluntarily came in, turned himself in. That's the way it works, but really the first 48 hours are most important.
And I like how you mentioned the first 48 hours after a murder. Explain to everybody at home why that is so important in finding a suspect.
Well, it's not just murder, it's violent crime, shootings, stabbings. Your witnesses are there, they're willing to talk to you, especially when they've been drinking. They'll tell you a lot of things that they might not tell you next day or the day after that. So getting to those witnesses and getting to the suspect, quite frankly, early on, is really beneficial for law enforcement.
Now, Quick was charged with murder Wednesday. A first court date was not listed. Moving on to another issue your department is facing, that's phone scams in general. But unfortunately, scammers are impersonating the Sheriff's Department. What kind of spam calls related to your department are callers seeing?
Almost all of them are scams. If you get a call that says you're from the Sheriff's Department, or your caller is from the Sheriff's Department, and gives you a name, even though the name may be right, chances are it's a scam. We don't call people and threaten them with jail if they don't pay for certain fines. We don't ask for cards, gift cards. None of that law enforcement does. So almost all of them are scams.
Now, what should people do if they receive a suspected spam call?
Well, they can call us and we'll tell them what we think. If it's a legitimate credit company or bank, they'll contact you another way, by mail. They won't just go away. Scammers, once they realize they can't get you, they'll move on to the next person.
Final topic for you now, Sheriff. Your department is participating on a countywide crackdown of unpermitted food vendors around town. Officials say they were accused of operating without proper health permits, along with possible food safety concerns. How is your department working with BPD and the health services to fix this issue?
We go along with them to make sure that nothing violent occurs. But there's really a couple of issues. The quality of the food. The health department is very concerned about that. And secondly, you have restaurants who pay fees for license to have a restaurant. To have somebody set up right outside your business without having to pay those fees seems somewhat unfair. And that's one of the reasons that we assist with code enforcement to enforce these codes that we currently have.
Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood joining us just like he does every single month. Donnie, one more question for you. How does the department go about enforcing the law and educating these vendors?
Well, you contact them first, and most of them are given a warning. If they move to a different location, we track that. You're not going to be given 2 or 3 different warnings. You're going to be cited, and ultimately you can be fined tremendously. So we get really a cooperation from most of them, but not all of them.
The latest operation included vendors identified through 88 community tips at 37 different locations. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
My pleasure.
Of course, we will have the last of Sunrise after the break. Stick with us.